Hello, and welcome to the Get Lean and Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I'm a certified health coach, trainer, and author. And this podcast is for middle-aged men and women looking to optimize their health and get their bodies back to what it once was 10 to 15 years ago. I will give you simple, actionable items to get long-term sustainable results. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin, and hopefully you had a great weekend. Happy Tuesday if you're listening to this on Tuesday. And hopefully you listened to my interview with Dr. Bill Harris. We touched on all about the benefits of omega-3s. I mean, he's been studying them for quite a long time with over 300 scientific papers on fatty acids and health. So a lot of research, and we touched on his omega-3 index, which he was a co-inventor of, as well as omega-6s and much, much more. So definitely check out episode 276 with my interview with Bill Harris if you haven't already. Now, on today's micro podcast, I figured I'd just touch on what omega-3s, what omega-6s are, how we get them from our diet, and where can you go from there. You'll have differing opinions on both of them, on both omega-3s and omega-6s, and actually polyunsaturated fatty acids in general have been getting sort of beaten up in the health, I would say the health space, and a lot of podcasting interviews with, Dr. Paul Saladino, just killing seed oils. I had Dr. Chris Kenobi on, all over seed oils. If you talk to Bill Harris for my recent discussion, he thinks another way. So a little bit of a mixed rhetoric out there. What's new? But I think the big thing is, maybe do your own research, come up with your own conclusions, self-experiment, see what works. I think that's most important. So omega-3 fatty acids, what are they? They're a group of polyunsaturated fats that are essential to the human body. They are composed of three main components, and we talked about this in the interview: EPA, DHA, and ALA. EPA and DHA are found in fatty fish, shellfish, and some algae. They're technically the most important forms of omega-3 fatty acids because they're easily absorbed in the human body and supported by numerous bodily functions such as heart and brain health. ALA, on the other hand, is not as absorbed as well. Dr. Bill Harris mentioned that. And this is mainly in plant-based foods such as flax seeds, chia seeds, nuts like walnuts, and so not converted so well in the body, ALA. If you are a vegan or vegetarian and you want to get some omega-3s, it might be beneficial to just supplement. And there's plenty of great companies out there that have some quality omega-3s. So those are the three different omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-6 fatty acids are also a polyunsaturated fat, and they're found in a variety of foods such as plant oils, which, like I said, these plant seed oils have been getting a lot of noise in the health space. Corn, sunflower, soybean, safflower, mainly because, as Dr. Chris Kenobi said, they're sort of invading our food system, and they're in mostly everything that we eat. When you go to restaurants, they're cooking in them. And so a lot of individuals are putting the conclusion that this is the main cause of obesity. And you might have some pushback by some people like Dr. Bill Harris, who doesn't believe that. Again, come to your own conclusions, but it is what it is. So omega-6 fatty acids, also known as linoleic acid, is considered to be essential in our body, and they can support a variety of functions, stimulating skin and hair growth, supporting the transport of nutrients throughout the body, and maintaining a strong immune system. So there's no way to avoid omega-6 fatty acids. I think what is out there a lot is people are talking about the ratio. I brought up the ratio to Dr. Bill Harris. He wasn't a big fan of it, but either way, that the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 has just gotten out of control, right? It's gone from like 4-to-1 would be ideal, for most people would tell you, and it's all the way up to like 20-to-1. Omega-6 to omega-3s. So, again, use with it what you want. There are a lot of studies done on omega-3s, so you can do a ton of research regarding heart health, regarding reducing triglycerides, even managing depression and anxiety, improving joint health. So I think the key is if you're getting omega-6s, you are going to get them in your diet some way or the other. Maybe just avoid getting them from like the processed foods, right? And a lot of times, obviously, if you're having processed foods, maybe you're having French fries. These are obviously cooked in omega-6s, and they're unstable, so they're being heated and oxidized and causing inflammation. So I think that would be the big rule of thumb from all this is you can find a rhetoric each way regarding fatty acids because Jay Feldman, who I've had previously on, will say that polyunsaturated fats inhibit energy production, drastically increase energy demands, and reduce the efficiency of energy usage. And so he's part of that bioenergetic viewpoint where they don't believe in any polyunsaturated fats that should have much at benefit. Some might argue regarding that. But we do know omega-6s, which are mainly found in seed oils, have been overconsumed over the last few decades. And maybe it's just something that you need to keep an eye on. And when you're cooking, just cook in saturated fats, and you can avoid getting a lot of your omega-6s from heating these seed oils. So I'll put a link in the show notes if you want to look at Jay's articles. I actually sent him to Dr. Bill Harris. He wasn't a big fan. So again, you got differing opinions. You got one guy who's been studying omega-3s for quite a long time, and he came out with this omega-3 index, his company, where they measure the amount of omega-3s that you have in your system, and he believes that, obviously you want to have a higher amount in your system, and this could lead to a lot of positive outcomes down the road. So there you have it. I just wanted to sort of touch on the differences between omega-6s and omega-3s. Omega-6s, like I said, are a variety of fruits, mainly plant oils, okay? And it's something called linoleic acid, and it does support systems in your body. But, obviously you might not want to get too many omega-6s. And omega-3s, mainly fatty fish, shellfish. So if you talk to Jay Feldman, he says go for the less fattier fishes. And if you talk to Dr. Bill Harris, he'll tell you the opposite. So I'm just here to present the information. I know it can be confusing from time to time, but I think it's important to sort of come up with your own conclusion from the research that's out there. So there you have it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And if you would love to leave a review, that would be great, of my podcast. If you enjoyed the debate, if you enjoy these interviews, that would be helpful. That way I can get more people exposed to these types of things and, just help as many people as possible. So you can go to iTunes or Spotify. Leaving a review would be great. I appreciate it. So anyways, that's all I got to talk on you today. Omega-3s, omega-6s. Check out my interview with Dr. Bill Harris if you want to learn more about omega-3s. And I'll put a link in the show notes if you want to just learn more about Jay Feldman and his analysis on omega-3s. So, and polyunsaturated fatty acids in general. So there you have it. Have a great week. I will talk to you on Friday with another great interview. And thanks so much for listening. Thanks for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I understand there are millions of other podcasts out there, and you've chosen to listen to mine, and I appreciate that. Check out the show notes at briangrin.com for everything that was mentioned in this episode. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or family member that's looking to get their body back to what it once was. Thanks again, and have a great day.